Today we're doing a chest tier list, and I'm going to go through a number of exercises for chest, obviously, and I'm going to rank them based on my personal opinion. So please don't go crying in the comments saying, oh, well, I love bench press and you put it in C tier. Well, guess what? It's personal preference. So I will explain myself, I'll explain my reasonings for each of the placements, and yeah, hopefully you can get some good ideas or just, have a laugh. But yeah, let's get started. Just before we start, I do want to say that this is purely for hypertrophy, so building as much muscle as possible, as big of a chest as possible, not for strength. So if you're trying to get super strong or doing sport-specific training, this isn't a tier list for that, so please don't get confused why I'm placing things as I'm placing them. But yeah, let's hop straight into it. So first thing first, we have the bench press, starting off with a big one. So I know I'm going to upset a lot of people with this one, but personally for me, remember, I'm not a fan of the bench. I mean, I used to bench a lot when I first started lifting. My first sort of 2 years of lifting, I'd bench every session, every chest session that is, and I built a lot of mass of it, a lot of strength. It's a great exercise, but as time goes on and I started to move heavier weights and I started to increase my frequency as I was learning how to properly program my training to manage fatigue and the stress on my joints, I started to get injured. Not major injuries, but just nagging shoulder pain, just annoying, just uncomfortable, ruining pumps, ruining sessions, not very nice. And it's something that I've tried to go back to a few times, but honestly, I just feel like there's so many better options. Some of these other ones I'm going to go through soon, I just think are so much better, purely for muscle building. If you want to get super strong, a bench press is where you need to go, but if you want to be a bodybuilder and get huge, or if you want to, be able to move your shoulders in 20 years, benching probably isn't the best one for that. So for that, I'm going to put it in good. I'm going to put it in good, because it is a good builder for chest. Some of the best people in the world, best chest in the world, should I specify, they love the bench press. They swear by the bench press. But for me personally, it's good. It's good. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Incline dumbbell press, straight and goat tier. This is probably my favourite chest exercise. It's just so good for the upper chest. You can move a lot of weight. It feels great. It's unilateral, which is underrated. So you're less likely to get imbalances, whereas you're pressing with a bar, you can press stronger with one side than the other, and this helps to remove that, especially if you've got imbalances already. It helps to fix those things. And to be fair, I've yet to see someone who doesn't need a bigger upper chest. There are lots of people with overdeveloped lower chests, but honestly, everyone could do it with a bigger upper chest, and this is probably the best way of doing it. This is an amazing exercise. I definitely recommend programming this. What we have next? Barbell floor press. Well, we've gone from the goat to a pretty stupid exercise. Now, this exercise can be useful for strength training if you're trying to work on your lockouts, although most people don't struggle with the lockouts. It's sort of that halfway portion of the movement where you're going to fail the rep. If you get it that high up in the lift, you're probably going to lock it out most of the time. But I know some powerlifters who are far more knowledgeable than me in strength training. They would absolutely love this exercise. They swear by it. So I'm not going to say ineffective, because clearly it does work, but it's definitely not a good muscle builder. I'd say neutral. Yeah. If you had the option to do a bench press or a barbell floor press, definitely choose the bench press. It's just more range of motion, more muscle activation, bigger chest. Next, we have push-ups. This is how everyone starts. Push-ups. Everyone's got to love the push-up. It's, sneaking push-ups in your room at night. Push-ups are great for people starting out. They're great because very low chance of getting injured. I've never heard someone hurt themselves doing a bodyweight push-up. And they do help you feel the chest, they help you feel your triceps especially, they're good for that. And they help you build that fundamental strength for people starting out. So I'm definitely not going to say they're ineffective, but it gets to a point, especially when you're a bit more advanced in your training, where the amount of push-ups you'll have to do to get close to failure is just ineffective. And it's not an easy exercise to load. I mean, you need a partner to put a plate on your back, and even that, if you get strong enough, might not be enough weight to safely have on your back. So push-ups are great for beginners, but as soon as you get a bit more advanced, it's definitely time to trade them out for something better. So let's just say neutral. Incline push-ups, same again. There's not really much difference. Incline push-ups, a little bit easier, so a bit better for beginners. But honestly, it's the same as push-ups. If you're a bit more advanced, there's not really much point in doing them. Maybe as a finisher at the end of your workout, but even then, there's better things you can do. Smith machine bench press. This is a good exercise. I'd argue this is better than the bench press, and I think a lot of people would agree with me on that. So, let's say you're benching, you're getting close to failure, and you know that you're not going to get this next rep. So, what do? You rack it because you don't want to die or look stupid in front of everyone. With the Smith machine, you can go for that rep, even though you know you're going to fail it. You can go all the way down, control the eccentric, push as hard as you can, get a lot more muscle activation, and you know that as soon as it starts going down, all you have to do is rack it. That's it, done. And it's safe, a lot safer than bench press, and also it helps you to sort of isolate the chest a bit more. I mean, I'm personally not a big fan of the Smith machine bench press because it does also hurt my shoulders, like the bench press does, but it's definitely better than the bench press. It's definitely a good exercise. Lots of people swear by it. It's I can't argue. It's effective. It's probably in the most effective. Next, machine chest fly. This, it depends how you do it. A lot of people do this and they lean forward, get their shoulders involved, cause injuries, or if it doesn't cause injuries, it mostly just works your shoulders, and that's not very effective for a chest exercise tier list. But if you do this properly, it can be a very, very good machine. I do like it. It sort of locks you in, so you can't really. It's quite hard to cheat the reps. You've really got to push with your chest. So any cable fly movements or sort of fly movements in general are really good, and machine chest fly is no exception to that. So, all going good. Decline push-ups, just a harder version of push-ups for a bit more advanced. If you do calisthenics, I'm sure you'll love this, but this isn't a calisthenics tier list, I'm afraid. So, again, just going to go neutral. It's just a variation of the push-up. Sorry. Incline bench press. Definitely better than the bench press. Like I said, most people need more development in the upper chest, so it definitely helps isolate that. But in terms of, is there better options? And could you do the incline pressing better? I'd argue you could. So I'm going to put it above the bench press, but it's still not the most effective. I do personally do this exercise. I really like this exercise. It's good for strength. It's good for feeling your upper chest, but there's definitely better. Now we have a close grip bench press. This is more tricep biased, so if this was a tricep tier list, this would be very high up. But in terms of chest, I know more people, this is obviously a generalization. If it doesn't apply to you, then it doesn't apply to you. But most people find that their elbows and their shoulders and all their joints hurt more with the close grip just because of the extra pressure it puts on them. But if you don't and you prefer it, it's just the bench press. It's the same thing. It's just a slightly different sort of target other muscles, but yeah, I'd say it's basically the same as a bench press. Next we have a decline bench press. Back to what I said before, I don't know if you've ever seen someone with a underdeveloped lower chest, but I certainly haven't. It's sure if you want to chuck it in at the end of your session just to get some extra chest work, maybe you rarely feel it your chest, you rarely enjoy it, go for it, but it's definitely not a very effective movement, not something I'd be using a lot. Next we have dumbbell bench. Again, same as the incline. Dumbbell press. I love a dumbbell press. Helps to isolate the chest. Help a lot better for the joints. You've got that free movement to sort of position your joints where you want to. Definitely helps my joints. So yeah, this is going to go in most effective. It's just simple as that. Targets the chest very well. Very good exercise. Machine chest press. This is a very good exercise. If you ever look around the gym and you see someone pressing heavy weight on a machine chest press, and they're doing it with good form, obviously, not half repping or doing anything crazy, they will have a big chest. It's impossible not to. It's a very good chest builder, isolates the chest, helps with the joints, and if you've got a good machine that allows you to fully come back and it doesn't stop short of the range of motion, amazing exercise. That's going in go as well. I'd argue them two are the best combination you can do. Dumbbell fly. Right, there's a lot of new scientific literature, not to sound too science bro kind of thing, but there's a lot of stuff coming out now about the lengthened portion of the range of motion, getting that proper tension at the bottom, and not focusing as much on the lockout, the top of the range of motion. So you could argue that a dumbbell fly, because as you bring your arms together, it's directly above you with gravity. You're not really applying any tension to the chest. So that top part of the range of motion rarely doesn't do much for you. Whereas that bottom part where your arms are at 90 degrees to your body, that's a lot of tension to your chest. And with the new literature, you could argue that could be very good for building muscle, but the one problem I have with this exercise is my shoulders could not handle this exercise. I'm just gonna say it destroys them. Sure, if your shoulders can handle this, hats off to you. Do it. I'm sure it'll work out great. But for me personally, I just can't hack it. It's definitely not. But I'm not gonna slate it for that. You know, it's personal preference. But I'll put it in good. It's a good exercise, but there's definitely better alternatives. Next, incline dumbbell fly. I'd argue it's the same as the dumbbell fly. It's just a bit more upper chest focused. It's a bit harder to isolate the upper chest and the mid chest and the lower chest with a fly than it is a press. Just, well, for me anyway, that's what I found. But again, it's probably slightly better. Always do with more upper chest, can't you? So I'll put it just ahead of dumbbell fly. These aren't particularly in order, by the way. It's just sort of, you know, tiered. Cable fly. Now, this is a standing cable fly I'm looking at here. I would not recommend doing it like that. Let's just say this is a seated proper cable fly, because if you are remotely strong, I mean, you know, proportional to your body weight, as soon as you get to that point, you're not going to be able to stand up and easily just cable fly without more focusing on not getting pulled backwards or, you know, to the sides, and less focused on your actual chest, you know, squeeze and development. But if you sit down and take away that stability problem, cable flies, amazing. They are amazing. Just get that there. Good. These three are probably the best combination you can do for any chest workout. Obviously, all the other ones are great. Not all of them, but most of the other ones are great. You can use them and be just as good. But if you're ever unsure, these three are the staples for bodybuilding. Not for powerlifting, for bodybuilding. And I don't think you can go wrong. But like I said, sit down and do it. You don't need to stand up. There's absolutely no point. Smith machine bench press. There's two of those for some reason. Okay, we'll ignore that. Dumbbell floor press. Again, it's the same as the barbell floor press. It's, I mean, maybe slightly better for hypertrophy because your unilateral, you can maybe get that more of a squeeze at the top, whereas the barbell, you can only get out so much. See the way my arms come out of the barbell, you can squeeze them together. Feels a bit better. But again, you're limited by the floor. You haven't got that bottom bit of range of motion, which rarely where you'll see the most gains, the most squeeze on the muscle. So it's just a worse version of the dumbbell bench. Just dumbbell bench, far better. I just took that in there. I think I could bring this barbell floor press down. I'm sorry, powerlifters, but it's not as good as what just doing normal bench. What do we have next? Pin press is the same thing again. That bottom bit in range of motion is so important. There's absolutely no point to cutting it off for bodybuilding. Ineffective. Archer push-ups. Don't think I've ever even seen someone do these. Definitely ineffective. It's just a worse version of a push-up. So, you know, just do a normal push-up. Dips. Dips are a tough one. If you lean forward and rarely stretch out that bottom bit of the range of motion, dips can be incredible for the chest. But if you stay upright and you use more tricep, you're not going to get too much activation. The one problem with dips is dips are amazing for chest, amazing, and triceps. But let's say you have chest on Monday, chest, shoulders, for example, and then you've got arms on Tuesday. Well, if you're doing lots of heavy dips on Monday and you're getting quite a bit of tricep involvement in there, the triceps are probably going to be pretty sore for Tuesday. So when it comes to, you know, recovery, it's obviously if you're doing chest and triceps together, then it makes no difference. You're hitting them in the same session, but like you're going to push-pull leg split. But if you're not, there's always that concern. But smart programming, you can easily get around that. I'm going to put dips in effective. They're very good. It's a different kind of stretch. You'll know once you've done it. It's a crazy stretch on that. But yeah, that seems like everything. There's no stupid or dangerous on this list. If you give me like a Bosu ball bench press or something stupid, that would be dangerous. But none of these are particularly stupid or dangerous. They're just not as effective as some of the other ones. And like I said, these three in the GOAT tier list are by far the best, I'd say. like I said, personal preference. But put in the comments below, what do you guys think the tier should be? Any of these you think are horribly wrong? Any of these you agree with? Yeah, chuck in the comments below. Have a good discussion. But other than that, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. It's my first video, so try my best to give me any suggestions in the comments below. Anything you think I should do different, anything you want to see, new video ideas, please, I'm always actually appreciate the suggestions. But other than that, see you later.